Hello and welcome back. In this session, we'll be talking about data driven testing and how we can perform data driven testing with Scandium with these few steps. First, create our test, parameterize our values, create data source, that is a CSV file, update our data in our data source, add data source to Scandium, run the test with our provided data source. But first, what is data-driven testing? Now, data-driven testing is a software testing technique in which test data are stored in a table or a spreadsheet. This testing allows testers to input a single test script that can execute tests for all test data from the table. Now, this testing technique is also called parameterized testing. Here's an example of a simple login flow. We'll navigate to our URL. In our username text field, we type in our username. In the password text field, we type in the password. We log in and then validate the home page. In this type of testing technique, rather than hard coding all our values, we would be replacing them with variables. For instance, where we have Jack as the username, hard coded, we're going to replace it with a variable. So for each time the test gets run, it gives it a new variable that we've assigned in the table. Same thing for the password. Now let's get started. First, on our dashboard, we're going to create a new test. So I'll just create a new folder and call this data driven test. So inside of this folder, I will create my test and I'll name this test data drive. I will impute my URL and record. So once I'm being directed to the web page, I would impute standard user as a username, secret underscore source as the password, and then I log in. Now I'm going to validate the home page. So I would come here, assert a future, click here, and I'm just going to assert product. Command, element should be visible, save assertion. And I stop my recording. So this is a simple login flow of a test I just created. So I will save this. And then create my CSV file. So I'll just go straight to create a sheet. I would give the header, username, password, and now I will have to populate the sheet. So I'll just go to all the available username and password, username, paste. Okay, I'll just values. So password, So I am just going to put 2 as to so what I'm going to do here is put 2 of these details as correct username and correct password, and 1 as correct username and wrong password. Then I would name my sheets data driven, okay, data drive, and save or download this as a CSV file. Yeah, so I will go back to Scandium, and I have this settings button here. So I'll just click on the setting button and come to data source. So where I have my data source, I have this upload file button. I would click on that and upload my sheet. Voila, you have the details here, and then I will save this. So once I'm done saving this, I will go back to my tests, and the fields I want to parameterize, I would have to make them variable. So type username, come here, click on settings. Where you have text to assign, I remove the values that are there and insert a variable. So once I click on insert variable for username, I have an external file with the username. So I'll just click on external file. I will do the same thing for password. Type password, come here, click on settings for that. I will remove this and insert a variable for that and upload our external file. So once I'm done with this, I click on save. Yeah, so my test has been saved. So for each time I get to run this, it's going to bring the data from the table I created. So I'll just run this and let's watch. So this is the first user from the table. It all passed. Second user passed. And now the third user with the wrong ID, with wrong login ID. So let's see. Yeah, so it's going to fail. Okay, so our test has finished running, and now we can see. So now we can see all 3 executions have been carried out. So in order for us to get a result, I will go to my, okay, I will save this and then go to my suite runs, and here you have it. So I'll click on open it, and then you can see that two of these 3 executions passed, which is the first one with the correct username and password, the second one with the correct username and password, and the third one with the correct username and a wrong password failed because it failed to see the assertion of the home page when you immediately log in. So that means it has executed 3 sets of data 3 times with 2 valid credentials and 1 invalid credential. So that is how you carry out data driven tests with Scandium.